Patrick Bertagnolli, Nuverra Environmental Solutions.
Excellent levels, excellent job there. And how are we doing today out in Watford City, correct?
Yep, Watford City, things are going great. Very, very busy.
Just kind of an anecdotal. I mean, this is not, anything that's going to go on record or anything, but how's the kind of the vibe doing in Watford City? Of course, a lot of investments into Main Street, trying to upgrade the quality of life. A lot of companies seem to be investing in a Watford City these days. So what's going on these days?
I guess a community effort. It's very busy out here, and one thing that we've really been working on is to kind of recruit community business partners to our team. For example, we've been working with the high school on some different things, and we even got a relationship with the daycare. We've done tours for our truck drivers to the daycare. And just economic development, I would say, would be our biggest thing that we've kind of discovered this year is just the relationship with those folks, and that's really opened our eyes to a lot of other opportunities to streamline those relationships within the community.
Well, that's one of the things we wanted to talk to you about today was the relationship and what you guys have going on with the high schools there. And then it sounded like you have a few other things, so daycare and economic development, so we can touch on those too. But I wanted to ask you about the high school thing, because that really caught my interest. One of the things we've said in this program for a number of years is really emphasize the 2-year trade schools and that sort of thing versus the 4-year. It just seems like the country's gone the way of the really good jobs are, kind of artificial intelligence, truck driving, maybe diesel mechanics, that sort of thing. Seems to be such a great way for kids to go. I mean, they're 20, 21 years old, and all of a sudden they got a great, future ahead of them financially. The high school angle really, I thought, was a great way to cultivate that ideology or just that mindset in general towards a lot of the local kids. What was your guys', idea towards this relationship with the high school kids and kind of getting them exposed to a world out there that you guys lead?
Well, that relationship was built through our alliance with McKenzie County Economic Development, Daniel Stenberg. And I was at a meeting that's kind of skills initiative based, and I learned from the high school ag teachers, Justin Johnsrud and Scott Wiffness, that they had a CDL simulator. And that all came about from that meeting. So we just set up a meeting and actually went and visited the folks and took a look at their simulator, and took my lead driver trainer supervisor over there. And then we invited those folks over here to just kind of see how our classroom environment is set up. But it's just been a relationship that's developed, and we're heading over to the high school tomorrow to kind of do a presentation for the kids there on what our expectations are for CDL drivers coming to our organization. So we're going to spend some time with them. They've got 11 students in there this year, and I'll tell you, one of my favorite things about this whole platform is that really from a workforce standpoint, people are at their best when they're mentoring or giving back. So for our drivers, we have a very talented group of people, but if we can position those folks to be mentors down the road to train up our next generation of CDL drivers, it just brings out the best in everyone. It has a direct impact on morale, performance, everything.
So you mentioned there was 11 students that are participating in this. What's their motivation? Do they have a kind of a uniform motivation, or does each kid kind of have their own separate motivation for wanting to do this?
I think it's really been awareness driven. I think the high school has done a tremendous job of the superintendent and everyone as far as just creating awareness for the jobs that are out there. And, earlier you had said it's 76% of the jobs in North Dakota require an associate's degree or less. So I will say as time goes on, companies are going to try to figure out how to dive into these schools to create awareness to fill those positions as these kids graduate from high school. So it's a full court press. And again, I think as companies get more involved with economic development, the Chamber of Commerce is out there, I think you're going to see just a lot of good things happen. And I'll tell you, even from a recruiting standpoint, if we're recruiting somebody in from another state, we let them know that, their family is just as important to us as they are. And just the opportunities are going to be available to their kids as they graduate from our high schools in North Dakota is going to be an amazing thing. And so this is not just about bringing that CDL driver here. It's about creating opportunities for their entire family.
Looking at my notes, and I've got Watford City, Williston, Beach, Dickinson, and Tioga as schools that you guys are working with. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've visited with the Tioga school, but I would say that we're kind of piloting this program in Watford City right now. But my HR team, as we go do job fairs in each of those different areas, part of our assignment is going to be to get with economic development, the Chamber of Commerce's, and just kind of share our experience in Watford, hoping that we can develop those strong relationships in those communities as well to, I guess, keep the fire burning.
So what's it like working with the school districts? Because, sometimes things can go really smooth, and then sometimes it takes 5 years just to get a cafeteria menu item approved. So what's that been like?
Well, these guys have been just amazing. And I'll just say from Scott and Justin's standpoint, these guys are local Watford City natives. And our relationship's going to just continue to grow. And as a result of that relationship, we actually sponsored the first football game over here in Watford City, and we just did a blitz on our employees. And we had, the number of employees that we had at this football game represented 20 states. And we just got a lot of positive feedback. So I think that the relationship is going to evolve, and we both have an opportunity to help each other get our people ingrained in the communities. And once we get that, the folks more ingrained in the communities, it's going to have a direct impact on retention, and then also these people from other states recruiting their friends, families, and neighbors to the state of North Dakota.
So we're talking about Nuverra Environmental Solutions, and you guys have done, you're a big company, very big company, yet this is another example of kind of that local touch. One of the things we like to say in this program all the time is that, the boots on the ground people like yourself is extremely important for the executives to stay in contact with, because it's the local people that are really driving the executives around, if that makes sense. So tell me about this at a local level. How's the community perceiving this? Are there any issues with with anything, or are people pretty much accepting of this?
I think they're absolutely accepting of it. And Watford City again, Daniel Stenberg hosted a welcome to Watford City here a couple weeks ago, and we had 12 of our new hires that week attend that event. We had over 600 people attend that. And I would say that as the community, we're working a lot closer and getting aligned with each other. And really the $1 million mission is to make sure that the people that come here to North Dakota have a great experience, and that they're aware of the resources that are available to them to achieve that. So I would say that that's really been our mission. And I always say that it takes a community to be successful, but that's really where we're going, is just forming that partnership within the community, and just with the mission of making sure that everybody has a great experience when they get here. Because if they have a great experience, that's the best way to recruit other people from out of state to our state.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. In my opinion, I cover a lot of different industries, oil and gas primarily, but so many people have marketing slogans about community, local, all this other stuff, and it's so night and day when you look at oil and gas companies, the service companies. Those people are embedded and ingrained in the local community, whereas a lot of the other industries, they're not. I mean, they might attend a business after hours occasionally, and that's their idea of it. So I think it's fantastic what you guys are doing. Pat Bertagnolli, right? Bertagnolli, there we go. On the line with us here, just a couple more minutes with him. I wanted to ask you about your daycare, reaching out and that sort of thing, and then a couple of the other ones that you mentioned earlier. Just to elaborate a little bit on what you guys are doing with partnering with and assisting with daycares.
Well, we had, it was kind of an interesting thing. One of our classes, we had a couple of folks, both veterans. One had a 2-year-old daughter in Oklahoma, and the other one's wife was expecting. And so I got with our instructor of our orientation, and we said, let's take these guys to the daycare. So I got a hold of Tessa. She's a manager at the daycare here, again, community partner, and we took our drivers over there for a tour. And they just asked a lot of questions about, how to get better involved in the community with gymnastics, all that stuff. But it was just an amazing tour. And one of our drivers, his wife actually got on with the daycare, and our new hire from Oklahoma, his wife actually works at a daycare in Oklahoma, and we're working on her to get her out here, and she's got a job, more than likely if she comes out here, if we get her out here. So we just kind of saw that connection just in being transparent with our folks and going in there and just getting to know them in our orientation class, and just we saw that need that they had right there. So just with the partnerships we have in the communities, we just go hit them.
I know Nuverra does a lot of job fairs and et cetera. So here's a free plug for you guys. Are you guys doing any hiring?
Yeah, we are. We're wide open on driver hires. We're doing an open interview on Tuesday in Tioga right now. We'll be opening that up across the state in the next few weeks as well. Yeah, just a lot of stuff going on. We're wide open. We've got an amazing training program. We're out there actually recruiting more driver trainers from our team. We're running about 90% retention on our new hires, which should be a significant piece of news to anybody that's looking for a great company to come on to.
Any final thoughts? I'd like to give guests kind of the final word, if you will, without a question being framed by me. So the floor is yours, sir.
I would just say that, one thing that in terms of morale and just, everything that's important to the people that are coming out here is just to make sure that they have a good experience. They feel important, they feel special, and they feel welcome. That's most achievable by establishing these partnerships with just our community leaders and the businesses out there. And if we all just have the same goal in mind as far as making sure these folks have a great experience working with economic development, great things will happen.